And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to install Windows 11 with a USB drive, but without the need of the Windows Insider program. Stick around. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. So today's pretty simple. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process on how to install Windows 11 with a USB drive, but without the need to sign up for the Windows Insider program. This video is perfect for those that may be wanting to test drive the Windows 11 operating system. Maybe you want to run it on a different machine, a virtual machine, or if you want to run it on your main machine, these steps should work perfectly for you. Now, at any point during this video, if you get something out of it, you like the video, whatever, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We all know the YouTube magic is a thing, and that certainly helps us grow our channel. If you want to support us in other ways, head on over to shop.helpcloud.com. We've got some merch that you can check out over there. So with that out of the way, there are a few requirements that you're going to need. First off, you're going to need at least an 8 gigabyte or larger USB drive. You will need to have an internet connection because you're going to need to download the ISO file in order to continue. And then, like I said, if you're wanting to test pilot this on a different machine, you're going to either have another machine handy or you're going to want to have a virtual machine. We are not going to cover on how to create partitions if you're wanting to dual boot, but if you're savvy at dual booting operating systems, you can use this guide for that as well. Now, the next thing is you're going to need the Windows 11 ISO file. You can head on over to uupdump.net to create your own version of it, whether it's a different language or maybe you want to choose from either Pro or Home or try out the different versions. You can go through, select your type of requirements, and then prepare that ISO file. I did do this on a decently spec laptop, and it took about 2 to 3 hours from start to finish. If you want to skip all of that and just download the one that I created, I will throw it up in a Google Drive link. This is an English variant, but it does have all versions of Windows in that ISO, which will allow you to choose during the setup process. So again, head on over to the drive link. You can download it directly from there. And while you're downloading it, just make note of where you're downloading it to, just because we're going to need to know that specific location for later on in today's video. Once you've started to download the ISO file or it's finished downloading, the next thing that you're going to need is a program called Rufus. This one allows us to take that ISO file and create a bootable drive out of it. So you're going to go to rufus.ie. Again, links will be down in the description below. Well, essentially, we're going to go to this website and you're going to download whatever version it is current. So at the time of this video, it's 3.15. Yours might be a little bit different. Just go ahead and click on it, and it's going to download the program. And then once it's finished downloading, just click on it in the bottom left-hand corner. If you don't see it down there, visit your downloads folder or wherever you have your download sent to, and you'll find the program in there. Once you've done that, go ahead and click on it. It's going to ask for UAC. You're going to want to click yes to run it. And it should look like a program that looks just like this. At this time, before we get too deep, if there's anything on the USB drive that you're planning to use for this procedure, it will be erased as Rufus is going to format that drive in order to prepare it for the Windows 11 file. So make sure whatever's on there is stored safely on another drive because it's going to be erased. Consider this your warning. You won't be able to get them back once it has been erased. Now, with this program, it's very straightforward. For the device, you're going to want to choose whatever drive it is that you are. If you don't see it, you're going to want to plug that in. I'm going to drop this down. I'm actually going to be choosing my flash drive and using that. But if you do not have a USB flash drive for whatever reason, but maybe you happen to have a SD or a micro SD card with a USB adapter, that would work. As you can see that it's showing my Air 2S drone's memory card, my micro SD memory card that I could use for this as well. So if you don't have a flash drive, you can use a micro SD as so long as you have the proper converter. So I'm going to choose a flash drive. You're going to want to leave the boot selection to disk or ISO image. This is the part where I said, hey, make note of where your download of that file, that ISO image is going, because we're going to need it here. So we're going to select it. And we're going to choose the ISO file and click on open. Once you've done that, you're going to want to leave the image option to standard Windows install, partition. Everything else at this point should remain exactly as it is. You can choose a different label if you want. So we'll just say Windows 11. And then once you've got all of that in there, just click on start. And it's going to take some time for Rufus to create those bootable files. Now, once that drive is finished, go ahead and unplug the drive, close down the Rufus program, and you can take that drive and plug it into whatever machine it is that you're installing Windows 11 on. Now is also a good time to have either a physical or a digital copy of your computer or motherboard manufacturer, just because we're going to need to either use the boot menu or the BIOS, and sometimes the keys to get into those systems are not exactly the same between different manufacturers. So now's a good time to have that just for some quick reference. So once you've got the drive plugged in, go ahead and boot up that computer, and you're going to press your corresponding boot menu key. Once you've done that, you should see your USB drive in that list. If you do see a legacy or a UEFI, you're going to want to choose the UEFI, as it is the newer technology. We're not going to cover the differences between the two. Again, like I've done in some of my older videos, I will post a video link down below if you're interested in knowing the difference between those two. But once you've found your USB UEFI, go ahead and hit enter on that, and it should automatically start to boot you into the Windows 11 setup. Now, for any reason, if you're unable to get the boot menu to pop up, we can try going into the BIOS. Again, this is where your manual is going to come in handy. You'll want to press your corresponding BIOS key. Usually it's the delete key or the F2 key in order to enter the BIOS. You're going to want to navigate to where you can change your drive priority and change it to where the USB is on the top. Hit F10 to save those changes and reboot the machine. You should now be getting a screen that says press any key to enter setup. If you've seen that, then hit any key and that should boot you into the Windows 11 setup screen. If for any reason neither one of those options are working, you can't see the USB drive is being detected by the computer, again, maybe try a different USB port from the other two that you've tried, if you've tried a couple of them, or shut down the machine, take the USB drive over to your other computer and prepare it again with the Rufus. Maybe something on those files didn't work, maybe something got corrupted, you may want to try that process again. If everything worked correctly, you should be seeing this screen where it says Windows Setup. You're gonna want to choose your language, time, currency, keyboard, or input. This is gonna be specific to you guys, so you're gonna want to modify those as you see fit. Once you've done that, hit next, and then we're going to click on Install Now. Should say Setup is starting. At this time, it's saying to activate Windows, but because Windows 11 is in a development phase, you don't have any key for this. You don't have to worry about this. Just click on I don't have a product key. If for any reason it says it's failed, reboot the machine, re-enter the setup. I've seen it take 2 or 3 times before it'll actually let me pass the screen if I don't have the product key. So I'm going to click on I don't have a product key. And then it's going to ask you to choose what type of setup you want to do, whether it's Windows Home, Windows Pro, Windows Home N. I'm actually not sure of the difference between Home and Home N. I believe it has something to do with regional base, but for today, I'm just going to choose the Windows 11 Pro. You're going to want to install whatever it is that you want to, and then once you've got that, you're going to click on Next. Then it's going to come up with Terms of Service, check the box, hit Next. And in this case, we're actually going to be doing a custom. Don't worry about doing an upgrade. We're going to be doing a custom Windows install. This is going to list some drive partitions. Now, if you're doing this on your main machine, this list might be pretty extensive, just depending on how many partitions and drives that you have. If that is the case, be extremely careful, because if you delete a partition that has maybe your main OS on it and you don't want to touch it, there's a chance that you could delete it by deleting one of these partitions. This is why it's a good idea to either try this in a VM or on a different machine that you don't have to worry about those type of things, but just be very careful when you're in these drive partitions area. Because this is on a virtual machine, I'm just going to delete all of the partitions in here. There's nothing on here that I need to save. And once you've done that, you should end up with one thing that says drive 0 unallocated space, and you can see that I have it set to 50 gigabytes. So if you have any further questions about your drives or anything like that, again, post those below. I'll answer those as soon as I can. But once you've got the unallocated space, just go ahead and click on Next. It's automatically going to create the partitions that it needs for the setup file. So we're just going to click on Next. And it's going to say installing Windows. Again, just depending on the specs of the machine will determine how long this setup process takes. Once Windows has finished setting up, it's going to reboot. You can either let the timer run out or just click on Restart Now and let the system reboot. Now, a quick pro tip, just like I've said in some of my other installation videos, if you're getting a setup reboot loop, so you've gone through the setup, machine's rebooted, and it's booted you back into setup for whatever reason, power down the machine, unplug the USB drive, turn the machine back on, and that should solve the boot loop problem. Once it's rebooted, it should come back up saying getting ready, maybe starting services and just getting the initial stuff ready to go. And you can see the next process is this the right country or region? So again, you're going to want to choose your country or region. For today, I'm just going to choose United States and click on Yes. Is this the right keyboard layout? Again, choose your appropriate keyboard layout. Mine is the US, so I'm going to click on yes. If you want to add a second keyboard layout, I'm going to click on skip. So like I said, if you've done Windows 10 setups before, it's very similar, just with a new UI. All of the questions are basically the same, if not very similar. Checking for some updates. Now, again, at the time of this video, this is coming out on like Wednesday, which is like 8/11. The version of Windows might be a little bit outdated by the time you guys see this video, but it should automatically update itself. Now it says, let's name your PC. We're just going to say demo test. You can skip it for now if you don't have a name that you want to do. You could always rename it later. We're going to click on next. Oh, can't have spaces. Just a moment. How'd you like to set up this device? You can set it up for a personal use or for work or school. Obviously, because it's still in developmental, you'll probably want to choose the setup for personal use and then click on next. You can sign in with a Microsoft account if you would, or if you want to. Normally, I would say you can do this to activate your Windows, but because activation is irrelevant at this point, I would just come on down and click on sign in options and then do an offline account. Click on skip for now. And then don't sign in with a Microsoft account, and it should allow you to create a local account for Windows 7. So we'll just do again, YouTube test. Click on next. You can enter a password if you like to. I'm not going to enter one just because, again, this is a demo. So we're going to click on next once again. Choose your privacy settings. Again, all of this is up to your preference. Location, find my device, diagnostic. I'm going to turn all of these things off just because I don't want them on. And then I'm going to click accept. Once again, checking for updates. And it says Windows Meet 11. You may get the screen, like I said, by the time you see this video, because it's a little bit outdated. There might be some updates that need to take place, and you can see that there's a percentage down here at the bottom. This is step 1 of 3, downloading. While it's doing that, so just going through some of these, it looks like they've added one place to start. The Windows, the start menu was the same. At a glance, it's just one swipe to widgets. So maybe they fixed the widgets. I know in some of the previous builds, the widgets weren't working correctly. Apps you know and love. Quickly find the apps, games, and movies. So it looks like they've overhauled their app section. Better together, chat with Microsoft Teams. I'm pretty sure that was already in there. Snap, optimize any screen with new snap layouts and groups to get it done faster. So they just kind of have an overview of different features that they've added with this update. And there you have it. Once it's fully booted up, you are now officially in Windows 11. And from here, you can just go through and explore what Windows 11 is all about. You've got your start menu, as you can see right here in the middle. You've got most of your apps in the middle. So they've basically just shifted the start menu and the taskbar towards the center. It's a very nice, clean looking start menu. There's no activation required or anything like that. So at this point, just enjoy and explore what Windows 11 has to offer. That is gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys were able to get Windows 11 installed. If not, if you are having some further issues, please reach out in the comments. I'll address those as soon as I can and see if we can help get you to that point. Thank you guys again for watching. Enjoy Windows 11, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.